Hi everyone, I'm Carissa and welcome to my channel. I make videos about my entrepreneurial and immigration journey in Canada, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe below so that you can get notifications about new videos. And if you find my videos useful, please share it with your friends and family just to spread the word and to spread information. Now, since I posted my first two videos, a lot of persons have been reaching out to me asking, how can I immigrate to Canada? What is the immigration process like? So my video today will be focusing on what I think is the best pathway to immigration for a young professional. So I think the best way to immigrate to Canada as a young professional is through the Express Entry program. And I might be a little biased because this is the program that I chose to apply in, and I was successful with that. So basically what I would share is just based on my own experience with the process. So I'm not speaking from the perspective of an immigration lawyer or an immigration consultant. So I made a video before about some of the benefits of obtaining permanent residency in Canada. So if you haven't watched that video, you can watch it. Just look on my channel and you would find it. But I'm going to speak a bit about the Express Entry program and why I think that it's a great program to apply to. So first of all, one of the benefits of applying through that program is that you land as a permanent resident. So different persons might take different pathways to immigrating to Canada. I know that a lot of young persons, they choose the pathway of applying to master's program or maybe a postgraduate certificate program first, and they start their immigration journey there. But in my experience, from my perspective, I think that if you qualify for the Express Entry program, it might be best to come as a permanent resident, and then you can apply to those schools as a domestic student, and it would be much cheaper. So take for example, schools like Humboldt, Centennial, those are colleges, or master's programs. If you go on the websites for any of those programs and you look at the tuition for domestic students as opposed to international students, sometimes the tuition fees that international students are paying are 3 times more expensive. If you take a college certificate program, for example, the duration of when you look at the tuition cost for maybe the duration of the term or the year, it might be 5,000 for a domestic student versus 15,000 for an international student, and that's just the tuition. But if you apply and you come to Canada as a permanent resident through the Express Entry program, you can be located in any province in Canada. So it could be Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, anywhere. And if your aim is to go to school and further your education, the benefit of a lower tuition is one of the benefits that you would get when you become a permanent resident. So another reason why I think that the Express Entry program is a great option is that it is an express entry program. I mean, the name says it all. The processing time is transparent and it is faster when you compare it to even other avenues for immigration to Canada. So you can put in your application at the same time as someone that is coming through, for example, family sponsorship. Maybe they might have a husband, wife, a spouse in Canada, and that person filed for them. You can self-initiate your application and you can get through before that person. So the average processing time for the Express Entry program is 6 months compared to other forms of family sponsorships that might take on average a year. So I think that is another benefit that is just tremendous. The transparent and the frankly fast processing times. When you compare it to other countries, in some countries you're not able to file for yourself, and then in some countries also, if someone files for you, it might take 5 years, it might take 10 years, you would have lived off a big portion of your life, a decade, before you even heard back. If you want to apply for this program, you can apply, put in your application, and you hear back within a reasonable time, and you get updates on your application. So some other benefits are that there are lots of support services for persons that come in as permanent residents. When you come in through the Express Entry program, as I said, you could go to any province, and in the various provinces, Ontario, British Columbia, Alberta, those are just three of the provinces that a lot of immigrants go to. You have other provinces in Canada, but there are lots of support services. So when you come, there are organizations that support you in learning about educational programs, in applying for jobs, so work opportunities, finding a place to live. So there are a lot of services and organizations that are funded by the government and non-profits that assist immigrants. Another non-profit organization is called Furniture Bank, that gives immigrants and other individuals free furniture, free lightly used furniture. And that's another benefit of being a permanent resident. When you come and you're opening a bank account, many financial institutions offer specific banking services for new immigrants. So for example, a lot of banks offer free banking, for a year. You're able to apply for and get a credit card as a permanent resident. Some of those things might be more difficult to do if you decide to, as an immigration pathway, to come as a student, spend a year or two in a program, then you're on a work permit, and then after that you're gonna eventually file for permanent residency anyway. So those are some of the reasons why I think that the Express Entry program is a great program for you to look at. Just to give some more detail of the program, generally it is a points-based program, and it focuses on economic immigration. So you might have heard people say before that Canada needs people. Yes, the truth is that Canada, in terms of its landmass, it is a very large country in terms of landmass. It is smaller than only Russia. So in terms of countries with large masses of land, there is Russia, and then there is Canada. And the truth of the matter is that Canada's population is approximately 37 million. Canada's entire population can fit into the state of California. Now, it doesn't feel like that when you're actually here on the ground in a big city like maybe Toronto or even Alberta or Mississauga, because the cities are quite populated. But when you drive, for example, an hour outside of Toronto, there are lots of farms, and you know that you're not really in a big city anymore. And from what I've seen, a lot of those places, they're rapidly expanding. But if you read the news about Canada and follow what's going on in the country, Canada is a developed country and it experiences growth every year. And to keep up with the growth, they need more immigrants because the birth rate in Canada is low. And so they have various economic immigration programs. The Express Entry program is one of those programs. But when you compare the other options for economic immigration, for example, the provincial nominee programs, so every province in Canada has their own immigration program. Also, it's more restrictive. So when you come in through one of those programs, you would have to live in that province, for example. And it might have other different stipulations for application. For example, maybe you might have had to go on to a university in that province, or have a job offer from that province, or maybe have family ties. So it varies from province to province. But through the Express Entry program, if you qualify, you can apply and you can live in any province. So The application is twofold. First, it requires an expression of interest, and then you are invited to make an application, and it's a points-based system. So the government of Canada ranks prospective immigrants in terms of points, and different categories are considered. So for example, your age, education, language abilities in English and or French, because those are the two official languages of Canada, your work experience, and other factors that come under maybe adaptability, how you're able to adapt to the country. I think that if you are a young person, if you're in your early 30s, late 20s, early 20s, and you have a university degree and you have at least 1 year's worth of continuous work experience and you have good language ability, I think that the Express Entry program is definitely worth considering, and I'll speak more about it in my other videos on my channel, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video and it was useful to you, please subscribe and like it and share it with others. Bye for now.